J is for joke. I'm not going to delve into the content of male humor too much in this post. Rather, I want to get into the just a joke mechanism that men use as a get-out-of-jail-free card when they deliberately offend, intimidate, and/or threaten women, especially in public or the workplace. Don't be fooled by the feigned ignorance and innocence that they pull following your negative reaction to their words or behavior. All males know exactly what they're doing when they target women for abuse. If a woman dares to call out a male for some misogynistic comment or gesture or blatant hate speech, he'll just whip out the whole, "Geez, why are you so sensitive? Can't you take a joke?" stance. The woman always ends up looking stupid or crazy or troublesome, and can even be blacklisted in workplaces because she's being antagonistic or unstable or unprofessional. Most women will, as per their lifetime of training, laugh along with rape and cheap hoe jokes, and the feminazi will find herself alone and ostracized. This just a joke mechanism works similarly to alcohol and to a lesser extent drug intoxication, where you see men under the influence avoid responsibility for rapes and other sexual assaults they commit. You see, there's a whole series of safeguards built into our patriarchal social and workplace cultures that allow males to push boundaries and shift responsibility for their aggression, persecution, and outright crimes onto their victims if they are caught. It's psychological warfare, and it's effective in dividing and destroying women. Having said that, what I really want to get at today is another aspect of male jokery. I want to use an example to demonstrate that even when males and females face what on the surface looks to be a similar issue, it's usually a much more serious problem for the females. And males, comparatively unthreatened, although possibly a little bothered or inconvenienced, will treat the issue as a joke. They'll even go so far as to criticize women for taking the issue too seriously and to turn women's reactions to the problem themselves as an additional joke. There are 1,000,001 examples to choose from, but I'll focus on one that comes from an article published in 2021 by The Right Scoop, an established conservative political and media news blog based in my own country of Canada, and that skates just below the edge of general acceptability for reliability and bias, according to the media bias chart put out by Ad Fontes Media. As a side note, I read all sorts of stuff: liberal, conservative, weird, wonderful, and truly fucked. You have to get out of your comfort zone if you have any hope of having something to write about. And I'm not male, you see, so I don't enjoy circle jerks. I have a copy of the article and some of the comments that you can access on my website. If you want to see all the comments, just Google the magazine name and Gay Campground, and that should get you where you need to go. I try not to link to sites like that directly for obvious reasons. The basic points of the article, and it is basically a requoting of a Queerty article sandwiched between two tiny original paragraphs, are A, to point out a problem that a small group of trans men, aka women who pretend they are men, got pissy for being banned from a gay male-only campground. B, to criticize liberals and liberal politicking, and C, to make fun of the constantly devolving LGBTXYZ community. The comments following the article are, as often is the case, just as illustrative as the article, but perhaps from another angle. My link provides enough of the comments to get the point across, but if you love comments sections, Google and head on over to the original article to get them all. What you'll notice from the Queerty article is that the gay male perspective on the tranny issue, while on the surface or without consideration might seem to be a general homosexual problem, isn't. Gay men are not women, and the issues they face with trans men, or aka women, are not the same as what lesbians face with trans women, aka men. Gay males generally don't take trans males seriously. I mean, they're women, and gay males don't take any women seriously. We are jokes, or usable objects as it is. And women don't pose a threat to men on the whole. What the gay dudes see as the main problem is that a gay campground is going to be sex oriented. Big surprise, eh? And they only want to see dick. Real dick, flopping about here and there. They don't want to see pussy, and they definitely don't want some Frankenstein-esque Frankenbeans in their faces. Seriously, man, come on. Men have problems, and this one is big and hard. Or not? The comments, mostly, but not only, by conservative men, turn the whole thing into a joke, even bringing in hilarious comments about lesbians and males in women's spaces. Complete ignorance about what trans means to women, especially lesbians. There is the requisite reference to feminazis, and a few more rational comments about the gay community not being what it once was, sadly. But the general air is that this is a laughable issue. Now, for women, trans-identified males are a different matter. Lesbians and gay men do share one thing. Forcing them to uphold inclusivity is an infringement of their rights and freedoms as minorities. I don't have a problem with closed groups, minority or not. This isn't the same thing as preventing women from being in the workforce or paying women less than men. Wait, is that still an issue? We're quibbling over the hurt feelings of trans banned from social groups? Jesus Christ. But that is where the similarities between gay and lesbian problems end. Women, lesbians in particular, have to deal with males who are trans-identified. And we don't need reminding that no matter what a dude is wearing, he still has the inbuilt, violent, woman-hating, rapey impulsivity and dominance problem. Tranny males are still super aggressive and scary fuckers. They also go tranny for different reasons than women do. And a lot of it for the males is sexually motivated entitlement and perversion and mental illness and wanting to dominate. Their approach to penetrating women's groups has been through aggression, threats, and outright violence. Trans men have not been beating up gay men or raining terror down upon them. Trans women have been hurting and threatening and erasing women, however. We know from data that their rates of violence mirror that of non-tranny men, despite any hormones they take or brain differences that they say they have. So the bottom line here is that, like every shared problem that males and females may have, for women there is always an extra threat of violence and danger, physically and sexually. And that is simply because males, regardless of whatever disadvantages they may have, are still members of the master class, the predator class, the weaponized class, the rapist class. And females are all members of the oppressed class, the colonized class, the prey class, the raped class. A dynamic that has existed since human time began. And you can apply this to anything. Women are always more at risk than men. Homelessness, more of a threat to women. Death of a spouse in a traditional het relationship, more of a threat to women. Traveling alone. Surviving a natural disaster. Living in a war zone. Speaking out in public. All of these situations are much more threatening for females because of lack of social, political, economic, and legal resources, and because of rape and the threat of rape. Yet, despite the fact that on some level every person knows this is true, when women face problems, they are often joked about. Even acknowledged dangers and risks and possible outcomes become jokes. Rape is a joke. Even when not specifically talking about a political or social issue, rape and sexual violence against women are a source of yucks and bonding for men. Some women may write off the joking in the same way that they write off men's ogling and wandering eyes. They need it, or they can't help it, or they are oppressed, or they are visual people, or they cover up emotion and insecurity with jocularity, or whatever fuckery they come up with to justify maintaining their cozy trauma bonds with oppressors. But it is because of this enabling, coupled with what I would say is the predator's natural inability to empathize, that women's issues will never be taken seriously, will remain a source of joke material, and will continue to invalidate a class of people. I mean, really, what could be funnier than watching a woman's overreaction when you jump out at her and scare the shit out of her? When you don't live with the physical and sexual threat hanging over you 24/7 like all females do, how could you not see their crazy reactions as laugh-worthy? If it doesn't affect you, then it's funny. If it doesn't affect you in a way that will hurt you physically, sexually, legally, or financially, then it's downright hilarious.